Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in our Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over 5 tips to help you guys build a lot faster in Fortnite. These are things that anyone can do that I think will drastically improve the speed at which you can build. So make sure you guys stay to the end of the video, because there's going to be at least a few tips in this video that I think can help you guys out a ton when it comes to your building speed. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and also subscribe to my second channel. The link for that will be in the description or the pinned comment. Turn on my post notifications and as well comment down below your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, if you guys would like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do is go over to the item shop, go down to support a creator, type in my code is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator. I really do appreciate all you guys who do add me. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I want to be talking about 5 tips that I think can help you guys out a ton when it comes to improving your building speed, just to allow you to build a lot faster in this game. So going into the first tip that I wanted to talk about, and this is going to be something that can help you guys out probably the most out of any tip in this video. So when it comes to building in Fortnite, there's a ton of different options in which you can build. There's so many different edits, so many different builds, techniques. Some people build a little bit smoother, some people build a little bit quicker. Really just depends on your play style and how you play, but there's so many different options when it comes to building. It's honestly pretty crazy. So I think one of the best and easiest ways to help you guys improve the speed at which you guys are building is as simple as maybe just going into creative and just practicing all the different builds, so different combo builds, because there's a lot of different things you can do. Because I remember back in season 2, it started out people would ramp rush, and then it came out the double ramp rush, and then it came into, I think it was the double ramp with 2 walls. And then from there, it got even crazier. They threw in floors, so it had 2 walls, 2 ramps, and 2 floors. So over time, it just got a lot easier. They definitely made a lot of updates to the game, so controller players can actually build, like builds plays instantly, Combat Pro, different things like that to actually help controller players build at that speed. So now there's just so many options in this game, and if you want to be a good builder in this game or be one of the best, you have to practice all the different type of builds and being able to do them really quickly, and also put a little extra on it so you could do all the builds and maybe throw in an extra cone, an extra ramp here and there. There's different techniques, different high ground retakes as well. I also made a video on that not too long ago. I have a ton of really good high ground techniques in the game. But if you haven't seen that video yet, definitely check it out. I think I went over like 3 or 4 different high ground retakes that were really good and also really effective when it comes to winning build fights and getting high ground a lot easier. But like I said, probably the #1 tip I can give you guys is to work on all the different types of builds, and I guess you can say or call it like combo building, and just building a lot of the different techniques in a row, doing things that are a little bit more challenging, a little bit more difficult, so you have to press a little bit more buttons and get a little bit harder. Because honestly, when it comes to building, if you're really good at doing a lot of crazy combo builds and stuff like that, then it's going to be a lot easier when it comes to easier builds. So just like simple as doing 90s or something, it's going to be 10 times easier to do, because you can do builds that are so much harder than that. So that's what I would recommend doing if you want to improve your building speed the fastest way possible. So going into my second tip / technique, and this is going to be very, very effective, and it's pretty much a high ground retake. It's super effective for a lot of reasons, which I'm going to get into in a minute, but I do this all the times in game, and I do it for a very specific reason instead, because a lot of people, what they do, and it's not really that bad of an idea, they ramp up, so they have the ramp below them, and they also have the ramp above them, and what they do is they do that, and then they kind of make a 180. They place a wall, and they kind of just, turn around, do a quick 180. But the way I do it here is honestly a lot better, and I'm going to explain the reason for it. So when you're ramping up, the reason why it's so much better is because when you're doing the 180, it's super easy to shoot down. They only have to shoot the 2 ramps above you and below you, and the whole thing breaks. And it's just a big pain, so you really don't have too many options when it comes to building out. If you build any more than 3, you're going to get shot out super easily, but it's very easy to break, so that's why I'm not a huge fan of ramping out and then just doing 180. It definitely helps a lot if you don't have as many materials, but the better way to do it is to branch out to the side using floors and then kind of just do 90s from there. And the reason being is because once you branch out using the floors and you come off the way I do here, it gives you a lot more protection on your build. So it's 10 times harder to shoot you out. They can't just shoot out 1 or 2 things. They have to shoot out like 3 or 4 layers, maybe even more, to completely shoot you out. So when you're turning around, I would recommend doing this if you have the mats to do so. Otherwise, because if it's the early game and you maybe only have like 100 or 200 materials, you want to save your materials. You don't want to burn through all of them very quickly. So doing something like this, when it comes to going for high ground retakes, going for 180s, I would highly recommend this, especially because getting mats now is really simple. The llamas give you 350 of each material. If you're in the brute or the robot, very simple. If you just literally run into 2 buildings to stomp it all, you're going to have max wood very easily, maybe even max brick. So having a lot of materials and being able to do this should be pretty simple in your game. It's not too difficult. You just have to ramp above and below, and then you want to branch out using the floors. And then there's also a lot of different ways you can go about it, but I like using the floors because it's super easy to build off of it. Some people just use the walls, but I think it's a little bit more challenging just because you don't have anything to catch yourself on. So if you misplace, it could be a little bit more confusing. So my third tip is going to be something that's pretty simple that a lot of you guys has seen, but I think it's also extremely important, and that's just going to be doing double edits. So you're editing the floor and also the cone. And I think this is extremely important for 2 reasons. And also when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you can edit both the tiles. So you're editing both the 2 front tiles. So the 2 front tiles on the ramp and also the floor you want to edit. And when you're doing this, what's going to happen is the floor and the cone is going to break, which means you can easily go for like a 180. You can turn around without having any issues, and I'm going to show you guys in a quick second exactly why. Because once you're ramping up and maybe you do want to go for 180, you want to be able to mine both of them. Otherwise you're not going to be able to, because once you edit both the floor and the cone, it's going to be stuck there. And once you edit the top 2 squares, then the entire thing is going to break, like you guys are about to see. Because once you edit the first 2, what's going to happen is the entire thing is going to break. So if you want to do this, you have a lot more options when it comes to building off of it. It's just a lot easier if you want to do 90s. It's a lot simpler than having to edit the cone as well. It's just going to get very confusing. So you want to work on editing both the 2 tiles as well, because as you can see right here, when I edit both of them, I can easily turn around and go for high ground right there, instead of if I only edit one of the tiles on both of them. See, I can't turn around very easily. I have to go for like 2 different edits. I got to reset the cone and then I have to flip it. It's just a lot more confusing and more of a challenge. So being able to edit both ways is extremely important and can really help you guys out a ton when it comes to building in Fortnite. And here I have the last tip and technique that I want to share with you guys in this video. Now this one is going to be a little bit more on the advanced side, definitely not anywhere I would say easy, but definitely is doable if you practice it for a little bit. It took me maybe about 5-10 minutes to really get it down, so not too crazy. So it basically goes back to the first one where I edit the floor and I also edit the cone. So I edit those 2 and then I place a few walls on the side, then I place a floor, and then I also place 2 other ramps. So I'm gonna have to show you guys exactly what I do, but like I said, this is a little bit more advanced, so it's not gonna be something you can just pick up in like 2 minutes. It will take just a little bit of time to learn, but once you have this down, it's not really the hardest thing to do. And well, it does require a little bit of editing. I think the hardest part, in my opinion, is gonna be the first part where you have to edit the floor and also edit the cone in that way. I think that's the hardest part, but once you get past that, I think the rest of it is pretty easy. And so here's exactly how to do it. So you want to edit the 2 squares on the far right, both of them on the floor and the cone. And then you want to branch out, connecting another ramp to that cone. And then from there, you want to place walls along the side. And then after you place the walls along the side, you want to place a floor piece right in the middle of it. And then the last thing you want to do is place a stair that you can just run up and you can edit both of them and ramp up. So again, you want to edit the 2 right squares. Then you want to branch off with a ramp. You want to place the walls along the side. You want to place, and at that point you want to jump over, and then you place the floor in the middle. Then you place the other ramp, and then you want to edit both the 2 so you can go for high ground. Now doing this full speed definitely is a lot harder, but once you get it down, like I said, it's not the hardest thing in the world, but definitely is advanced and will take a little bit of practice to get down. And with that being said, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you guys do drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on my post notifications so you guys are notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.